Hello, it's me, Baldy. You may know me from such things as Baldy, this channel, or not at all, which is much more likely. And I am a 9 to 5 warrior. I'll have you know that for the past 10 years, I haven't worked a single job worth my time. I started off at McDonald's, then I ended up going up to Chipotle, went from Chipotle into warehouse work. I've done gas station work at 7-Eleven and Sunoco, doing all of that. Obviously, I bring that experience into an escape room, which was part time. And overall, what I found is after 10 years, being 26 years old now, um, I'm broke. And like, it should suck, but it doesn't suck as bad as I thought it would. And I guess that's a weird feeling. So I did my taxes for the first time in a year. I know, crazy thought. And for the first time, I actually looked at all my paperwork instead of getting some other guy to do it because I was exceptionally broke this year. Um, and with that, there came a shocking revelation. There's something called an AGI, or an average gross income. I think that's the official thing, which is just like your yearly net. Like, how much do you make annually? And I had looked through my past 4 years, which were like the only 4 years I had saved. And it turns out in the past 4 years, I've not broken past $17,110. In other words, I'm in poverty, but like, I don't feel like I'm in poverty. I've got three monitors. I've got a nice computer. I've got AC that I could turn off and on. I got a mini fridge. And I don't always eat three square meals a day, but somewhere warm to sleep. And the fact that I can eat a meal a day is like pretty nice and relieving to have. It feels like even if I'm eating ramen packets, I'm not going to die instantly. It's just going to be more gradual, like everyone. And I guess it's been weird because I feel like, has anyone else gone through this at school? Um, where kind of $60,000 is that normal amount of money? Like, that was the amount of money you were expecting to make at a job after school. Like, they would talk about like this. It was like, oh, this is the average salary of this job, this job, this job. Like, that was the most normal base amount. And in my head, it was like kind of like the default standard of living. I legitimately remember in English class, Miss Hart, bless you. She dealt with a lot of my shit, but in English class, we did a budgeting thing, and this sticks with me really hard because I sat there and I budgeted around what is essentially my current living situation. Uh, because she said, so say you have $60,000. Now dedicate this much to food, transportation, and everything. Try and calculate how much money you would have left over after you're done with all of your needed living expenses. And this was a class assignment because what they're expecting you to do is to know like vaguely what you eat within 2 weeks, you and your family know vaguely what rent is. It's a way of teaching some life skill. And I completed this, um, and two things were extremely low: food and transportation. Whereas most people were expecting to be driving cars, I have always been deathly afraid of driving. Very early on, when I was learning to drive with my dad, I got really scared and I hit on the gas. And every time I get in a car, I would disassociate really hard, so I couldn't focus on what was in front of me. So I figured me being on the road, not the best for the rest of the road. And then the second thing was food, because food over the course of 2 weeks, you don't need that much money. I put $30 for 2 weeks of food, and she said that was so absurd. She couldn't imagine anyone living like that. And I remember, you know, coming to school after not having breakfast at home and eating breakfast in the high school building because that's the only way I was getting food in the morning as a kid, and going into that class and thinking about all this and her going $30, you can't survive on 2 weeks and $30. And I looked her in the eyes and I go, well, my mother essentially spends $30 on my brother and I's food for a month. And that wasn't like an exaggeration. It's just you get mac and cheese boxes, that Chef Boyard, that ramen, all garbage food, 100%. But it was somewhat filling, and if you're broke, that's all you're eating. You're not really going out of your way to get the fancy shit. You'll get meat for rice, because I'm Hispanic. Bless. We need our arroz con gandule, or, some white rice for me is preferable. Some white rice and some vite. Oh, bless. Either way, mind you, I don't speak Spanish, so don't even hit me with the Boricua. I'm a fake Puerto Rican hunted. But anyway, like, I understood that I was broke a little bit there. But I always thought after that, I guess, when I got to working, shit would change. It's like, maybe we're broke because my mom ain't working. Maybe she was lazy. Maybe the teacher was right. And I was crazy to think that we spent that little money on food. And now, 26, 10 years, decade of working, nothing but 9 to 5s, no money, no income really. Savings got fucked. Why? Because I needed to find a new place to live. And I guess finding out I was right that I could live on $30 for 2 weeks may have been validating in some ways, but it's not the kind of validation I would prefer, I guess. I would really have hoped to be wrong. And I found recently that despite that, it's not so bad. When you're broke, you kind of get a sense of community, almost. I feel like when you have no money, you experience how much people give a shit about you. Because now you're at your lowest of lows. And if you're poor, you're probably around a lot of other people who are also poor. So they're also at their lowest of lows. Yet they still try to find ways to support you, just the same as you try to support them. And then it kind of becomes a thing of everyone just looks out for each other slowly. And we all hope that we can build up our own things on the side while doing it. Maybe someone needs food here, or someone needs some like help with moving over there. Like your manpower, your transportation, eating, everything becomes a community effort because maybe someone doesn't have gas money and you got money, but you don't got gas car. You can't gas go anywhere. So what you gonna do? You gonna pay that guy $10 gas money to take you somewhere quick, maybe grab groceries or whatever, and he doesn't need all $10 of gas, to bring you out to take groceries. So got some gas, and that's a thing. That's just like poor person merchantry. I'm sure it happens in like middle class and higher levels, but it's a necessity for survival on the lower end to connect with people. When you have enough money to be fully independent, I feel like most people end up sticking to that, don't they? How often do you really get out and start just talking to people about their day to day? Or how often do you like visit family and stuff if they're all busy working? Like, I think that's the other thing. Like, once you get caught up and you start making enough money to make that 60K a year, all those jobs are so hyper corpa. I hear like a different form of unhappiness. So now that your physical needs are being met, you're just lonelier. You have a harder time making new friends. You have a hard time meeting family, like meeting up with family, basically. Like some people will forego give like meeting up with their family and doing things with them, or the other end where they only see their family, which I've seen a lot too, where it's like, uh, I've had a friend whose mom literally has a tracker on her, and she's 20 something. Like, family for some people becomes a lockdown crazy situation where no matter how well off you're doing, no matter how much money you make, no matter who you are, that's all it is. That's your life. Some people live only for their friends, they're very fleeting. They go out, maybe they live place to place, kind of nomad style. That's the thing some people do. If you got it, you can sometimes get away with that, but people are it's not this is fucked up to say, but when it's not a necessity, those are more events than like a kind action, I guess. But like every time, I stay over someone's house, that's just like I feel as though I'm connected with their way of living because that's how I view every time I visit someone. If I visit my friend Josh, friend since kindergarten, he's not in a good situation. He's broke too. A lot of us in Philly are. So I'll go to his house, and what do? Probably the same shit I do at home. But now I'm kind of witnessing what he does at home too. He'll make a meal, or maybe he grabs soda or whatever, and we'll do our simple shit. We'll talk with whatever people walk through that day, play with the animals. You live in someone's space temporarily, almost, even when just visiting, because you're like, you have so little else outside of your home that it kind of becomes a part of you. I feel like when you're stuck in my situation, you really only value your space, as in like a room, or for some people, it's as simple as a bed or a couch or a recliner. I've seen people get upset over recliners at my level. So it's like these things are important, and I'm sure it affects others differently to some extent, but I feel like my experience might be more focused, I guess. This is really hard to word. It's a feeling. It's a feeling I get when I'm real and I spit. And people are feeling your shit. Okay. It's a feeling of closeness to a person's actual living. Whereas when you have money, it feels like you're playing not into how a person would actually live, but more like you're playing into their ego. This is probably fucked up to say. I feel like most people just show off a lot of their shit when they got more money. That's like that becomes the personality. It's like these are the things I have, and obviously those things lead to other skills, or maybe they're part of other interests, or maybe they're investments in some way, shape, or form. There's probably 1,000 different things, but in my head, I see a lot of it as vanity because I'm broke. If I wasn't, I probably would be just like you. I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, congrats on the Funko Pop or whatever. But I've definitely felt more and more, as I see like a lot of YouTuber haul stuff, or like seeing a lot of higher end things. I'm like, man, this is fucking vapid. This is some vapid shit. This would kind of like I would just stop caring about stuff. I would just start throwing things away. And I feel like that's probably what a lot of people end up doing is they throw a ton of shit away, which then makes me upset because I'm like, damn, if someone threw some of that shit away, I'd want it. So it's like no matter what, we're in a fucked up situation. People don't want to give out their shit to random people that often when you're at a higher end. But when you actually, that's a lie. That's a lie. There are a lot of hand-me-downs that happen in the middle class. That does happen. I do remember a couple of my friends doing hand-me-down stuff. So that does seem fun. Maybe I'm being a bit of a harsh Andy on that. Maybe I'm just trying to come up with something to talk about. Realistically, this was all just one big overarching narrative in my head to bring up the fact that, hey, I'm curious. Like, what's it like? I've been the 9 to 5 grind. What's like? the normal middle class grind. Like, what do you eat? What do you do? How do you sleep? You sleeping well at night? You doing all right? Do you go to therapy? I can't afford therapy. I also can't afford healthcare most of the time. I had like bad heart feelings a while ago, and they went away. So, that's fucked up. But like, what am I gonna do? I can't afford to just start going to a doctor. What do I look like? Eh? I ain't got the bread for that. I think that's one of the situations where money's a little more like, that's when I become more on my communist, like, hey, we need UBI, comrade. All of us, we need the money. But like outside of that, it's just like, I don't know. I'm curious. Uh, been a while since I just made like an unedited video talking to a camera. I think I'll keep it unedited. Who knows? This was kind of inspired by, was it name? What's his name? Leet the Neat the Freak. Fucking, I'll put his name in the comments when I find it. There's too many goddamn things on my oh shit. I just started opening a YouTube video. I'm gonna just start playing. All right. Well, there's too many things on my feed right now for me to find his exact name. I'll probably call him out in the comments or whatever. Probably throw him in the description too with the ads. Anyway, um, thank you guys for coming, chilling, vibing, doing whatever it is you do. Tell me about your current situations, or don't. I'm not your fucking dad. Maybe you can make fun of me about being poor. Maybe make fun of the fact that I smoke weed or something with my housemate, or maybe you got something nice to say. Nah. And if you're here telling me that I need to get on my Sigma male grind set and get to the gym, that's just $50 a month. I did it for 2 months, and I just figured I'm gonna do handstands and calisthenics at home. Fuck all that. That's a little too expensive. Bye.